This video is divided into 3 chapters. Chapter 1, Cleaning Up, Chapter 2, Carving the Gills, and Chapter 3, Carving the Scales. Chapter 1, Cleaning Up, removing the saw marks and pencil lines. Step 1, remove the top corners. Using the same carving directions as video 3, gently knock off the top corners of the fish. For this, I am using Beavercraft's C15 detail knife. The aim is to remove the sharp edges, like this. Step 2. Clean up the top surface of the fish. Slice diagonally across the grain direction. You want to remove the saw marks and pencil line. To leave a buttery texture. You only need to remove a very thin layer of wood. This is what you're aiming for. Step 3. Remove the remaining pencil lines. Now remove the remaining high points across the profile and belly. Use the same carving directions as before, making sure to carve downhill with the grain. Again, you only need to carve off a thin layer of wood. Keep going until all of the saw marks have been removed. Step 4. If you're carving fish design number 1, you will also need to clean up the mouth. To do this, carve along the grain in either direction. Clean up all 4 sides and remove any corners. This is what you're aiming for by the end of chapter 1. It is the same process for fish design number 2. Chapter 2, Carving the Gills. This chapter is optional. Step 1. Using a pencil, draw 2 gill lines onto either side of the fish. These are also shown on the reference sheet in your kit. You want the gills to look roughly symmetrical. Step 2. Scoring in the gill lines. Next, Score in the gill lines with your knife tip. There are different ways to do this. You can try using the scoring hold, as shown in video 2. Stabilise the piece on a tabletop, holding it with your spare hand. And hold the knife like a pencil. However, in practice, I actually found this a bit unstable. So I returned to the whittling hold. I stabilised the piece against my body with my non-carving hand. And I used the index finger on my carving hand as an extra anchor, scoring with my thumb on the back of the blade. Here are some close-ups which I have also sped up. You will need to score 2 to 3 times along each gill line. Step 3. Carving the gill lines. Now carve up to the gill line with the tip of your knife, working from back to front along the fish's body. The wood should flake away at the score line. You only need to remove 2 to 3 thin layers of wood to make the gills look 3D. Step 3 continued. This is what you're aiming for. The carved area should look like a crescent moon. Chapter 3. Carving the scales. This chapter is also optional. Here is an optional scale pattern you can carve on fish number 2. For this, I am using Beavercraft's C6 chip carving knife. Step 1. Draw a grid pattern on each side of the fish. You can use this video or your reference sheet as a guide. Step 2. Score in the outline of each diamond shape. Start by scoring in one direction and then in the other direction. Place the tip of your knife at each apex and rock the blade backwards. Watch what I do and you'll get the idea. 3. Carve in the scales, one scale at a time. Carve in a diagonal direction towards each apex. As you carve each scale, a small piece of wood should pop out. You only need to remove a small amount of wood each time. Step 3 continued. This is what you're aiming for. When you're ready, repeat the whole process on the opposite side. This concludes video 4.